Hey everyone, it is Hannah here from Rundle's Urban Farm, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of our garden today. This week has been kind of cold and wet, which the rain has been really good, but because of the cool weather, stuff hasn't been growing quite as rapidly this week, so there's not a lot of change from last week. But I am excited to show you a new addition to our little backyard farm. So hope you enjoy. So you might have seen that we added chicks a couple of weeks ago. We finally got them moved out to their coop, and you can see here some of them are enjoying the outside weather. They really love getting out in the sun. So that is our little chicken coop area right next to our bees. And here we'll go take a look at the gardens. So right here, the grape is doing really wonderfully, and the flower is very happy. And our beans, beans are starting to take off. They haven't appreciated the cold this past week though. And then here we have a bucket of tomatoes, and these are planted in almost straight compost, so they are really enjoying life. We've got acorn squash, greens, and beans. And then here we've got some melons that are waiting to get out in the garden, but it's gonna be a little while before they get big enough. We've got our winter squash, and then we've got beginning of the tomatoes. We've got lots here, and these are getting quite large. And we've got more over here. These two on the end are some of my best looking tomatoes. So is this German pink. Very large potato leaf tomato, and it's just looking gorgeous. And then we've got the rest of our tomatoes and more squash down there on the trellis. And then here we've got our peppers, some basil, which I just got in, and the weather is getting warmer this coming week, so that should start taking off real soon. More peppers, cosmos, which are about to bloom, and those are just going to be gorgeous. More peppers, rosemary, which has been super slow to start but should be taking off soon. Oh, and here we've got a zucchini popping its head out of the ground, and two more in that mound. So these will just be regular Black Beauty zucchini. And then these zucchini over here, this is a saffron, which is a yellow squash, and then that is a Black Beauty, and those are gray zucchinis. They are finally starting to take off as well. And of course we've got our garlic and our new trellis with the melons, but unfortunately melons are not looking so happy. And then we've got our bush beans here, which are a lot happier than the bush beans I grew last year. They got eaten by beans almost right out of the gate. And then we've got cosmos and some Swiss chard, which the Swiss chard was given to me by a lady who just dug them up out of her yard, or her garden rather, and they are finally perking up. They just wilted right when I planted them and weren't super happy. And we've got some all-season lettuce here, which is just starting to take off. Some more basil, and some more cosmos, and peppers. And this is a fun addition from the past week or so, purple basil, which I planted next to my eggplants, and so far it's outpacing them by quite a bit. And then here we have more peppers, and carrots just starting to come up. Carrots take a really long time to germinate, so you can see our first one there. Also take a quick look at the flower and fruit garden. We've got our penstemon, which is just bursting into bloom. The veronica is getting very close, and the peas are getting very tall beyond the fence, and you can see they have quite the lovely blossoms here. And we've got blueberries, which will be getting ripe midsummer, I guess. Iris, more blueberries, and then the rest of our shade garden, plus our volunteer sunflower. So here we have our garden beds in the front yard, the raised ones. We have cucumbers, which are finally starting to take off. Tomatoes, which are not as far along as the ones in the backyard. Some peppers and spinach, which unfortunately I just noticed is already bolting, and it's not even enough to harvest yet. So we will have to try that again in the fall when it's a little cooler. And then over here we have our strawberry bed, which is just taking off. Lots of beautiful red strawberries here. And then over here we have that tall spiky thing is a gladiola. So I've got a few of those in the back of this bed. Excuse the road noise here. And in this kabocha, and the first kabocha we planted, and now that one we discovered was getting overwatered, so hopefully it'll start to take off now. We've got some beets coming up, and our onions, which are doing very nicely.